Okay, guys, so I've got another fun project. I've got a book here that I got from the dollar store, and I'm just giving it a couple of coats of white paint. I am using a clay-based chalk style paint, so it dries very quickly. And I'm going to add molds to the front and the spine. And so here I am using the wings and feathers mold from Iron Orchid Designs. And I'm using air dry clay right there, which is also from Iron Orchid Designs. So I just had there was two feathers that molds that I'm using here. And I always put cornstarch in my molds to help the clay release. So I'm just kind of outlining how I want my molds to go. So I'm just laying them out before I actually glue them down. And of course, you can use any book that you have laying around. And so see, I just kind of am making a little frame with the molds because I'm going to use this tissue paper that I got here. I ordered this from Amazon. It's a Tim Holtz tissue paper. And there's 4 different prints on it, and they just keep repeating on this roll. So I'm cutting out one of the images in the shape that I'm going to put it inside of the mold. So I'm just going to cut it in an oval shape. Again, this is the wings and feathers mold, and I'm using see, I've used the wings a lot, but never really these feathers. So I thought that would be cute with a bird print. So I'm just going to kind of cut it out to fit a little better inside of my molds. Now I'm just going to take those off. Normally I go ahead and glue them down and paint them on the project, but since I'm using tissue paper, and I've never really used tissue paper before, so I'm using liquid patina here from DIY, which you could use Mod Podge, glue and water, whatever it is that you're used to using for decoupaging. And I'm just kind of putting it on the book in the oval shape. And then I'm just laying the tissue down. I'm going back over the tissue with the liquid patina. And now I'm going to take I like to use saran wrap to put on top of anything I'm decoupaging, like with napkins is usually the only thing I've decoupaged with. So I'll put the plastic wrap over it and kind of smooth it out. It helps get rid of the wrinkles, and then I'll put more liquid patina on top of that. Okay, so now I'm going to dry the molds a little bit because I want to paint them before I put them on the book, which is not what I usually do. Like I said, I usually glue them down right out of the mold and then paint them while they're on the project after they have dried. But I didn't really know how I was going to paint them and not get it on the tissue paper. So I dried them just a little bit with the heat gun to get them just hard enough to paint. I like for them to dry a little bit before I paint them, just so I won't mess up any of the details with my paintbrush, because it's pretty soft. The clay's pretty soft. But here I dried it enough to where I felt comfortable to go ahead and paint it. Okay, now I'm going to dry that again with the heat gun. Now I'm drying the paint just so I can pick them up and then glue them on. They're not totally dry, so they're still pliable where I can shape them as I need to. So I am using Titebond glue here, Titebond Quick and Thick, and I just like to put it on with my fingers so I can rub it, get it to the edge of the molds, because I always want my edges to be glued down pretty well so they won't lift. And you can really use any kind of glue, but this Titebond is pretty good. It does dry pretty fast. And so now I'm just arranging the little feathers to go around my image, my tissue paper. Now when I got through, I noticed that the two feathers on the bottom didn't connect. So I made another little piece just like I used at the very top, which was on the Swags mold. A lot of cute little things. And again, you can use, there's so many molds that Iron Orchid Designs have. You can use, there's a lot of options to use as a frame. I just, again, had never used the little feathers, and I thought it would be cute with the birds. Oh, and I also wanted to show you here how there are no wrinkles in this tissue paper. I just love that. Okay, so now I am going to put a mold on the spine of the book, and this is the Trimmings 1 mold. So I always just kind of look to see which size would go well on the back, you know, the one that has pretty much a similar size. And again, I'm just using the air dry clay, putting it in the mold after I've put a little cornstarch in there. Make sure the back is smooth, and then I just pop it out. Look at all those little details. They're so cute. Okay, and then I just do the same thing. I'm gonna, this time I'm gonna glue it right on the book because I'm not gonna have any trouble painting it while it's on the book. So I'm just gonna add my glue, again, the Titebond Quick and Thick, making sure to get it on my edges. And then I'm just gonna glue it right on. And I have a little bit more. As you can see, it's a little bit longer than the end of my book, but I like to do that, and then I will kind of press the ends together, kind of like, you know, like accordion style. Don't ever stretch the mold because that will cause it to crack, but just kind of push the edges together, kind of squish it together, and then make sure and then I used a razor blade to cut off the excess. And here I'm just painting. I did dry this. I'm not showing it in the video, but I did dry this with my heat gun before painting because there's a lot of details on this little mold and I didn't want to mess it up. Sometimes if you're painting before it's dry, you could kind of like just smudge the details. Now it's all dry, and so I am adding some clear wax by DIY. I'm going to put it over the entire book. I'm going to add dark wax after this. So the reason I put clear wax on first is so I will be able to manipulate the dark wax just a little better. If you add the dark wax before adding clear wax or without adding the clear wax, it will just change the color of your paint actually. It'll just get in there more and it'll be a little bit harder to rub off. So here I'm just going to I'm just going to brush the dark wax on. I'm working in sections, just lightly rubbing it on there. I do want to get the wax down into the details though of the molds, because when you wipe it back, you want the wax to stay down in those details and just highlight them all. So I'm just taking a t-shirt and just going to rub back the dark wax. You can take off as much as you want, and if you rub off too much, you can always add more back. And if it's not coming off as much as you'd like, you can just add some clear wax, which I'll do in a minute down at the bottom. So here I'm just dipping my rag into the wax, and see how it comes off. It just acts as an eraser. I wanted most of mine off and just leaving a lot in the molds. Doing the same thing on the spine of the book. Making sure to get down in the details. Going to wipe it back. And that's pretty much it. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. And if you need any of the supplies, you can find them at www.weatheredwings.com.